I am Stan Goldstein with Kates-Boylston Publications. As part of our KB On the Road live series, I am glad to be joined by a person I always enjoy speaking with, Jake Johnson, the president and CEO of the Johnson Consulting Group. Jake, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right. What are values like for funeral businesses right now?
Yeah, you've got with the market the way that it's been. You've got we're coming off a high case volume year. You've got the interest rates the way they are. You've got a lot of interest in our space, and so the values are high. You've got my assessment is they're about 8 to 10% higher than normal, and you've got a lot of people interested. So when you put a lot of people, we do what we do, and you put the right information out there and put enough people looking at it confidentially, it drives value to begin with, but even more so right now.
And what's it like to get money to buy a funeral business right now?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's probably the best it's been. You've got a lot of people want to invest in this space. You've got even the SBA, who normally that's a program you hear SBA loans and you kind of cringe about it. But right now you've got no fees and they're paying for your loan for 6 months. So I don't know when we'll ever see that again. They've had that program once before and it worked well, and they're doing it again. So getting money, and that's up to $5 million that you can borrow if you've not borrowed with the SBA before. So great time to borrow money. Interest rates are low. It's a good time.
Okay, and something we had talked about, you had mentioned a perfect storm for selling right now. So what does that mean? Talk about that perfect storm from what you were just saying.
Yeah, holy cow, because of the held up demand. So a lot of us, I'm a funeral home owner myself, and everybody's been very busy. So the thought of selling or just really implementing anything other than just taking care of those families that have come in has really made a pent up demand, and buyers are just saying, hey, we want to buy, where's everybody? And so as things slow down and people are considering selling or kept through that process, even through the pandemic, they're seeing a lot of interest. And again, with the way that the lending programs are, the venture money that's interested in our space, again, we're all coming off a high call volume year, potentially looking at some years ahead of us that may be low because we had people that we serviced in 2020 and early 2021 that maybe we're going to die in 2022 or 2023. So when you think about that, it's always, for a company like mine, it's great to be able to debate if a buyer wants to try to figure out what a normal call volume is, as opposed to a declining call, or a call volume trend that's flat or had like a bad year the year before. You're in a better negotiating position right now. So you meld all that together and you end up with what I would call a perfect storm for getting good value.
Mm-hmm. And following up, how does a well thought out succession plan impact the value of my business?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like planning for sure, and succession planning should be started tomorrow. It doesn't matter whether you're selling to, tomorrow or 5 years from now, but when you've put together a well-oiled plan that involves, a good eye on your financials, that you've got a good workplace and you've got good staff that can run that business if you got hit by a bus tomorrow, and you've got a good position in your marketplace, and you got your customer service going. These are all things that would be part of a succession plan, not just including the staff, but more all those other components. All those things going on, you're going to get good value for the business. Succession planning is not only good for you for planning for when you want to sell, it's also good for you in making sure you achieve the highest value.
Okay. All right, a little math in this question. What are the impacts on the value of my business if I can gain 10 calls or gain $100 in average sales, or if I lose 10 calls, lose $100 in average sales? You got that?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. For Johnson Consulting, we get the unique perspective of seeing what those impacts are when we go out to market a business, knowing that if they hadn't lost their average sale or they had gained an average sale, knowing what that means in marketing the business. And I like to point out, when we look at this, that how close are we looking at this from one arranger to the other, because the impact, arrangers typically will have a different average sale, and when you've got just $100 difference in average sale on well, I'll put it this way, let's say you lose a call and typical average sale, and that call's not going to come back. Using a typical average sale, you're looking at probably a loss in value per call of about $20,000 a call, give or take. And so when you lose $100 in average sale, if it's on 10 calls, you take, what that number comes to, take that to the bottom line, you're probably looking at $5,000 to $10,000 loss in value, and it just can multiply from there. I have slides where I show that, if you're gaining an average sale by $100 or losing, and if it's 10 calls or if it's 30 calls or it's 50 calls, that could mean anywhere from 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 in value swing on your business. And a lot of us, including my own firm, we work to make sure our average sale we can maintain with rising cremation, that these type of results are real. And we don't look at it that way because we either are deciding we're going to sell and it is what it is, or we're not. And so I would challenge everybody to, hey, get evaluation done just so you know where you're at, and then ask these type of questions to say, hey, Jake, if I can get $100 more in average sale, what would that do for my business? And that's part of that succession planning. So it's a huge impact on the business, and each arranger is a contributor of it, both positive and negative. And I say work on it now because everything's trend driven. When we look at values of businesses, we want to see 3 years of performance. And so that's why it's so important to start now. But, you can always get a little a boost to that just by, a company like ours, we do marketing packages and valuations to show the story of where a company's going. But developing those trends on your own now is very important as well.
Okay. And how many people get in contact with you or Johnson Consulting?
We could certainly reach out to me directly at my email, which is jjohnson@johnsonconsulting.com, or dial the main line at 480-556-8500. And either myself or somebody would be happy to show them how it can help increase the value of their business for now or the future, or for their own succession plan.
Great. I know you're always very accessible, so that's great. Great.
Yeah.
All right, Jake, great. Thank you for talking with us, and we'll chat again down the line. Thank you.
Thank you again. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.